Hey guys, this is Dardamus of Dardamus Dominions. I'm here with Gaslov. Say hi, Gaslov.
Hey everybody, this is Gaslov.
So I'm assuming that you're playing some elf or some variant of Elfish Nation. Is that correct?
I am playing EA Vanheim.
With EA Vanheim, is that better or worse than the MA version?
They are definitely better. They are my favorite of the three. And the biggest reason is because of these Vanhears, which are insanely powerful. I tend to treat EA Vanheim the same as you would, say, middle-aged Ashdod. They have very strong troops, and they are incredibly strong early, and pretty much any neighbor should be very afraid of EA Vanheim.
Now, normally I go to Research Monkeys and we go on to research, but I think that these guys are strong enough that they deserve that we start with their Pretender. So can you tell me which chassis you went with?
I went with the big rock, the monolith.
Nice. That is my favorite Pretender. That is the best Pretender. Now, what did you do with this one?
I went with Fire 5, Astral 4, Earth 4, and Nature 4. The reason, and Blood 4, and the reason I did this is mostly for the cross paths. I need Earth Astral and Earth and Blood, and Astral and Nature, and the Fire is just a nice to have.
Which bless did you go with?
So I went with a bless that's kind of controversial. I like to put larger on these guys. So I have attack.
Very controversial. Okay.
Yeah.
And then attack skill.
A lot of people think that it's a bad idea. I'm about to talk about it. So the attack skill's nice. I have a little bit of fire resistance. Then I have larger. I have the blood. Blood surge. And then I have a little bit of poison resistance and magic weapons. Now, the thing about larger is usually, most of the time, larger is a penalty to your troops because it reduces the number of units in your square, it reduces your attack density, and thus your troops tend to clear squares a lot slower. But with Vanhears, since they're size 2, they only go up to 3, so you only lose 1 unit. It's not like going from size 3 to 4 where you are left with a single unit in the square. You still have 2 guys. You already have 4 attacks, and they're 4 very powerful attacks. Every single one of your squares with 2 Vanhears have no problem fully clearing the adjacent square with just the 2 of them. Having that extra third man is just not necessary. And the thing about larger is it gives these guys 4 more hit points, which is what you really want because they got to survive hits because you want them to go berserk. It gives them something that's super important, that's +2 map move. These guys have 10 movement normally, and you can only recruit them in your capital. It is a pain to get them anywhere, but having that magic number of 12, you can more often than not move 2 squares a turn with them. And then finally you get +3 strength.
Yeah, keep going.
Go ahead.
No, keep going.
Oh, and finally, they get +3 strength. Yeah, and the strength is nice because they're attacking twice, so that +3 strength equates to +6 damage.
And then with this Berserker, it goes up to a total of 8 damage, 5 from Berserker, 3 from Strength, and you end up with a 29 point hit, correct?
Yeah, and then throw in Blood Surge. Now, Blood Surge doesn't play well with 3 units in a square, because what will end up happening is one guy will get the kill, he gets the Blood Surge, and then your other guys are just kind of standing there like idiots. When you reduce your numbers, you spread out your troops, which is a nice thing, because another problem with Vanheim is that they don't have large field coverage, and so having larger kind of helps that a little bit, and it makes the Blood Surge a little more useful, because Blood Surge is much more useful on a larger unit than a smaller.
I like what you said, too, how people always talk about density, but there's a point where density works against you, because you also want your ability to be unable to be flanked, you want your line longer, and when I look at elves, one of the problems that they have is number. And doing this makes your line longer.
Absolutely. Yep. And that
What was
is a pro, definitely.
what makes me really happy is that I get to do this interview with you solo because yesterday I felt rather solo myself. We went over your bless, and let me just tell you that people were not very positive for it. But I believe that this
No?
is the superior. Yeah, I was really surprised because this is very similar to the bless I used in Lucid's when I played Vanheim and his. And it didn't go the best, but I don't think it was the bless was not the problem. The bless was absolutely not the problem. So you get my kudos, dude. This is a bless that I can definitely jump on with, but it does have its weaknesses too. Do you want to go over those weaknesses?
Well, the weakness is the fact that you're reducing the number of attacks in a square. And that's really it. And it also reduces their defense, but their defense is already bad. When they go berserk, they're going to get hit by everything anyway. Their entire defense is in the fact that they're glamored, so they have the mirror image. So that's really their only mitigation. You're not losing a lot by -1 defense.
Now, did you go dormant or imprisoned, or did you go away?
He's imprisoned. This is not a nation that needs an awake pretender.
Okay.
There's really, I mean, you could for the site searching and especially the research, but you will catch up on research. It is okay to have a slow start on research. Get your alquils going. Get up to lanterns. You will catch up. What's really important is eating a neighbor and surviving your first 2v1.
Now, my big thing with this one is, in contrast to what I did, I tanked scales. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that I played Vanheim because I didn't understand elves. And so, my bless was 100% ignorant. It was coming out of a educated guess. And I went with a lot more resist because, resists are good. This is kind of lacking. I mean, it does have a touch of fire and a touch of poison, but, foul vapors, all it needs to do is do 1 point of damage to you, and that, poison resist is not going to do it. Fire resist, you still got, fire Ellies are still going to be a problem, and you're lacking in cold resist and with MR, correct?
Well, since I'm elves, they have 14 magic resistance, which is okay. Cold nations. Who is playing a cold nation? I don't think we have any of those.
You've got the frozen heart spammer, so you only need like one water in order to cast frozen heart. But you're not. Are you worried about that at all?
Well, that's a thug killer. And I am a little worried about that. I don't think it's going to do that much damage, though. We'll see. We'll see about that. Fire elementals, I'm not too worried about because it's armor piercing. They have 13 protection, so you -5 from whatever damage that was, and then they still got to go through armor. I think 5 fire resistance is okay, especially since they have these guys have about 20 hit points. They have magic weapons, so they're gonna kill fire elementals pretty fast. As far as foul vapors, not at all worried. These guys will wipe the battlefield before foul vapors does a lot of damage.
Okay, so you have answers. They may not be the most perfect answers, but you were looking at there are other things that you want to spend those points on. And I'm guessing that it's scales because you still have 187 left. What were your scales?
Yep. So I have 3 in order because I really need the recruitment points. I have 9 Dominion. I have a little bit of growth and a couple in magic.
And then I'm guessing you have full 3?
No, I went heat. I want heat. I do not like the cold. My guys can't move through the snow.
Okay, so far I have order 3, heat 2, growth 2, and that puts you at 2 points.
Yep.
Okay, and you went.
I'm sorry. No. It's growth 1.
Growth 1, and then magic 1.
Magic 2, and misfortune 1.
Okay. Now, why did you go 9 Dominion?
Because this nation completely depends on these Vanhears. I mean, these guys are going to see just how strong these things are. I mean, I can't wait to maybe I'll regret these words, but they're going to find out that these things are broken. And so yeah, I want to be able to pump. I want to be able to pump 10 of these out a turn. So what I need to do is I need to get up to 5 temples so I can get up to 10 Dominion points or holy points, and then I can recruit 10 of these guys. And I needed the Order 3. I'm sorry?
No, keep going.
Yeah, and I needed the Order 3 to also get up there, get enough recruitment points so I can pump them out.
Now, what's interesting is I told you, like, I came from a point of ignorance playing this. And going 9 Dominion, I didn't even assume that you could get 9 of these guys out. That is insane.
I can get 10 out. I mean, and you don't even need production to do it. You just need order.
And once you get to 10, are you recruitment capped at that point, or could you have gotten an 11th or
12th? You could not have gotten an 11th.
Okay, so
even
10
if
is
the
about
game allowed it.
Okay.
Yep. So it works out perfect. I mean, it's almost like they designed the game to do it this way.
Now, with this bless and with these sacred, how many provinces do you get in your test games?
Usually like 25. So first year.
Yeah, with 12 turns. So 25
yeah.
Wow,
that's
pretty amazing.
It's pretty average. It's and you can and other people can do it better, honestly.
What's funny is that you get these. Like the newer players, you talk to them, and it's like, I was teaching my wife, and I said you got to get 12 provinces in 12 turns, but you can really tell the higher level players by what they can do in single player. Like when there are no other players to hold you back, just what can you do? And 25 provinces is a huge number, and it seems. I mean, I think you're right. People probably could, if they knew what they were doing, go higher, but 25 is still really high.
Yeah, because you can expand with like 5 of these dudes. You need 5 of these guys and a Vanhears, and they can kill almost everything. They cannot kill barbarian provinces with just 5. They're not like the Vans, who are really, really well suited at killing barbarians. But everything else, I mean, they just obliterate.
It's just wild because I'm playing as EA alt, and this unit just eclipses them on so many levels. Now, I mean, it's about 3 times more expensive, but just
and I think it's undercosted. I think it's an undercosted unit. I mean, 40 gold for I mean, you look at the stats of this thing, especially the bless I put on it. I mean, these numbers get up to like 18, 20 attack, 33 damage. It's pretty insane.
Now we're talking 33
damage. I think it tends to surprise people.
You can get it higher than that, and so let's move into Magic a little bit. Who is your research monk?
So they are the Vanhearses. If I can find shamans, I want shamans because they're better researchers for the price than Vanhearses. And in this game, I actually do have a couple of those provinces. But yeah, so same with MA Vanheim is that I want to get up to construction 2. I want to get hammers and alquills, and then I want conjuration 3, construction 3, and enchantment 3. Use my dwarves to spit out legions of steel and strength of giants, which really the strength of giants is just kill more. Like, you don't even need it. The more important spell is definitely legions of steel in EA. From there, I want to get my air elementals. And then I'm going up enchantment because I need two things. I need these domes to protect my capital, and I need mass flight.
Why do you need to
A
protect
lot of
your capital with domes? I'm sorry.
Because in any cap-centric nation like you have in EA, you are going to dump when you go to war to someone. The first thing you want to do is just cause as much unrest as possible in somebody's capital. It shuts down production of their best units, and if they are not prepared for it, if they cannot get domes up to stop it, that's as good as having an army just sitting on top of their capital.
It's really funny you say that because I play majority EA, and I don't believe that I've ever had a dump like that before, but it seems like a very good strategy.
Oh, that's surprising, because yeah, that's something you should definitely be doing.
It's really interesting because when you go from player to player and from server to server and from game to game, you start getting a meta that is unexpecting on certain things. And I think that the players that I play with just we don't do that, and so it's kind of an interesting thing. Now,
Interesting.
what do you have the ability to do like wailing winds, like the air death stuff?
Not unless I get really lucky. It can happen if you get your national hero. Crap, I can't remember his name. Van Lade,
Okay.
I think. He can cast it. You can give him a staff, and he can cast it. If you are super lucky, your Vanadrots might spawn to death, but it's super rare. I tend to not even. I don't tend to make that a research goal until or unless I have the caster. I don't count on ever getting that caster. But after
What's
Enchantment
interesting.
7, the next. No, go ahead.
So with you, how much does it go from 1 to 2? How much does it cost in power?
30.
Okay, so for 40 gems, you could get one of the death randoms, and you could get him to cast it. And that's actually, but I think you're right. Like late game,
I could.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm on a Wailing Winds. I'm on a Wailing Winds. That spell is broken. I hate it. I want it taken out of the game because I've lost so much to it.
Wailing Winds with Storm up is a good play, but a lot of times what I notice players do is they'll throw up Wailing Winds without Storm, and again, Wailing Winds is one of those spells that takes a long time to work. It's a lot like Foul Vapors. It takes a long time to work. And so if the opponent has Mass Flight up and you do not counter it, your opponent's going to whoop your ass. I mean, it's and that's the whole point of Enchantment 7, because Mass Flight solves a lot of problems. Now, I in the past preferred Alt 7 because Fog Warriors is really great on Berserkers, but it's become my second priority just because I've gotten so much mileage out of Mass Flight.
In Mass Flight on Vans is disgusting.
Oh man, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Okay, so what are we sitting at time-wise? I can know. Okay, yeah, we're 20 minutes. With so with this, you're very okay. So what are going to be your main casters? Who are going to be casting these
spells? In the beginning, I need a lot of dwarves. They're my crafting base, and then ultimately they're my main spellcasters. My second phase of magic is going to be led by Vanjarls, because they're going to be my air elemental casters. They're also going to be blood hunting a little bit just for the reinvigoration spell. A Vanjarl can get off 3 air elementals before as long as he has a blood slave, he can get off 3 air elementals without any issue. And then late game, it's all Vanadrots. Usually around year 3 is when I exclusively switch to Vanadrots, because that's when my big air spells start coming out.
Now, when you're talking big air, are you just talking, like, you can't just be talking about Mass Flight, that only takes one dude. What are you talking about with that? large scale.
I need mass flight. I need the mass aerofin. What is that called?
The Aerofin.
Oh
You
yeah,
got it right. It's
aerofin.
Aerofin.
Yep, I need aerofin. I need um
Aerofin can
yeah, I
get put
guess
up by your your
they
Vangerow can
can.
do that. Yeah.
They can. But it's better to use a Vanadrot for that because he can toss that out and then he can cast a couple of air elementals.
I'll give you that. It is better, but in a pinch you can still do it. Are there any other big air? Because that's one thing I really like is that you seem like you play a lot of air and you're worried about the big air spells. Where I'm kind of more the Earth nation. I play more Earth. I see more Earth spells. When I think of things, I'm looking at okay, mass flight just means I guard my I have my guys centered around my commanders, and then I cast Earth meld or something like that. What is it? What are some of the big other air spells that we'll be seeing out of it?
Fog Warriors is the best one, but it takes 5 air to cast. You need a minimum of 4 air to cast it, and so usually you got to wait until you have an Air 4 Vanadrot, so you can make the Path Booster, the
Okay,
little winged helmet, and then you throw
okay.
that on your. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Your Vanadrot can get Air Force straight on, like right on the box, and then cast Fog Warriors.
No, they come out as Air 3. There's
Well, yeah, I
only
meant like a
a
random.
25% chance. Yeah, but you need to understand, they're slow to recruit, and so you don't. A game is only 50 turns to 75 turns. You're not going to get too many of these guys. And again, I spend the beginning of the game building up my little dwarven army here, dwarven casters, and so sometimes you do have to kind of empower. Like after, if like the first 4 you don't get an Air 4, you might have to empower one of them,
Now, do you
and it's
use the
expensive.
blood communions at all? Because I'm seeing this blood path here, this blood path here. It does look like you can communion up.
You can, um, you can. It's just kind of expensive to do.
Yeah,
Um,
it
and
seems like
you can in a pinch. And I do research Blood 1 pretty consistently just for the reinvigoration spell. But now, and that's the thing. There's obviously a solution to the problem. It's all about what's most efficient, and there are certain things that I really like to just guarantee.
now when I
There are
played
lots of
this.
ways of getting there.
Sorry, when I played this game, I ended up going with like a lightning, like shimmering fields and stuff like that. I got sages right off the bat, which is like an elf stream come true, and I did like shimmering fields, and it was a bad idea. This is not a Thunderstrike nation, is that correct?
I don't believe it is. A lot of people argue with me about that. I don't think Thunderstrike is the best use of these guys.
And why
It's
is that?
50
What is?
fatigue. It's 50 fatigue. You generally need Storm Up to cast it, and you just miss half the time. So your guys are going to cast 3 of these in the battle, maybe 4, and half your casts are going to miss. I don't think Thunderstrike is nearly as good as people claim it is.
My problem
I
was
would
that it hit
much.
my sacred, so
Yeah, then it hits your own guy. Yeah, exactly. Not
that was
only
a
does it
sad
miss,
day.
but then zaps your own dudes.
I won, but I didn't win. Okay, so
Now there's a
let's.
spell that one particular player loves, and it is Wrathful Skies, and Wrathful Skies is a great spell, but man, I just feel like there are better things to research.
I tend to agree with you on that. It was definitely a learning experience. I saw Aaron like I don't play Air Nation. Like coming to you and learning this that you would go Air Elementals and that you'd rely on the troops, especially at Vanheim. It's kind of an interesting. I probably would have done better if I would have gotten a hold of you first. So
Yeah, you do not play Vanheim the same as you play Calum. Calum is definitely an air evocation nation. Vanheim is not, not really.
My limit of air knowledge is the air that I'd get on my randoms to be able to cloud trap these onto army. That was my limit. I
Yeah.
didn't know anything beyond that. So we're looking at the nations right now, along with the players. And are there any nations and players that you like the combo, or the nation alone, or just the player alone that have you on edge, or that have you worried?
It's just Ubar.
Only
Ubar is
Ubar.
such a, yeah. I mean, I can wreck any of these other nations. Ubar is the only one that can wreck me. I think it tends to be a close match, and you don't want those. That's a good way to get stuck in something that will eventually kill you. And because I can't kill Ubar quickly, I am hoping to just avoid him.
What's interesting is that the Ubar player, he seems to know his stuff as much as you are the Van player. Kirby has quickly become the Ubar player of at least the team that I'm in.
Yeah, I know he's been practicing them for a while.
So none of these other players, like I know that Sakane is probably one of the better players on the scene. He's on a lower tier nation. But like I know that Joe Brandon, for example, is on Marharni, and I mean Joe Brandon is that's again his nation. Does any of this scare
Yeah.
you at all?
So Maverny is basically the Scaleria of EA, and these are better players, and so he's going to die. I mean, it's he's going to be the first war target of every one of his neighbors.
Really? Like that's what I thought of Lucid too. And whenever I get into one of Lucid's games, I haven't been in like in a year, but it was always everybody like we need to make sure Lucid doesn't go wild, and everybody's getting ready to make sure Lucid doesn't go wild. And then we actually get into the game. I'm not adjacent to him because I'll follow through. Um, but everybody else is like, oh no, it's Lucid. I don't want to be the first person. It's kind of like the air. He is the Airmore of players. You don't want to be the first player because he's gonna extract that pound of flesh. And I'm almost curious if people get scared of Sakane like that, like or Joe Brandon, I'm sorry, where they're afraid of Joe because they don't want to be that
Nah, I mean I'm going to invade him. Just to let you know.
first player. Now we are into the game a little bit farther than the episodes. So don't give too much away, but who would some of your first targets be? Like, who are some of your priority targets?
So first priority is getting rid of this boar infestation that could possibly happen. Once I do that, what I think is going to happen is I think Arco is going to backstab me, and that's going to be really frustrating because he's on the opposite end of me.
I love how it's like you expect backstab. And normally I'd be like, you'd be more optimistic, dude. But after the last game, I mean, like, I can understand it now. Are you worried
Well,
about Hellhound?
I just
Keep
look at the
going.
map, and I look at where they are. I know where his capital is. I know what land he is, where his neighbors are, where his borders are. And just geographically, it kind of makes sense that he might get greedy and come over here. Now, if he doesn't do that, I am kind of looking at Machaca as my second war target. The
What I
problem
like,
with
dude,
me
is that
fighting
you're not
Machaca...
like those are two of the best players, and you're just like, I'm gonna go for Machaca. That's awesome, dude. So why are you going for Machaca?
Well, Machaca, because geographically it makes sense. He's right next to the lake. There's a lot of easy movement for me down here because I'm a sailing nation. The downside of invading Machaca is I don't really need his capital's gems as much. I mean, the fire would be good. Let's see, what is it? Is he one of those nature guys, or is he mostly fire?
I'm looking
Let's
it
see
up
what
right
he's
now.
got.
Two nature, one death, two earth, and one fire.
Well, earth and fire are pretty good. So yeah, it would be beneficial for me to try to take him out. That would give me 2 thrones plus the one next to me. I can foul vapor my I got to empower him, but I can foul vapor my pretender into the Lake of God for the 4th throne. And it looks like Yomi has the 5th. And is that all we need to win?
It's 5 thrones or 4 with the 3-pointer.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where the 3-pointer is.
It's yeah,
But
it's really interesting
that's
the throne placement here, because like some of these thrones are really I really got excited about looking at the throne game. So and then the indies, dude. I mean, you got the shamans sitting right next to you. That's glorious.
Yeah, I love it. That's why it was my first expand, I think, or maybe it was my second. Yeah, I've got to get a lab and temple up in that province right away.
So going into this, you're fairly confident.
It depends on what happens. If Arco teams up with Bachaka, that could spell problems for me. I don't think Yomi is going to be interested in coming over here. I don't think Helheim is going to want to fight me. See, Helheim is at a geographic disadvantage too, because he can't sail and I can. And while his units are fast, mine can be too, because this lake will put me right into his cap circle, I think.
It does. You're right. That's really interesting. I mean, now that's another question I have. Helheim, how are they compared to Vanheim? Are they stronger, weaker? How does that look?
Well, Helheim is, as you know, a Welling Winds nation. They're really good at it because they will drop that blood rain down on you and Welling Winds. They can do that, and that's pretty nasty. I don't like fighting Helheim, and
It's
I
really
hope
funny.
it doesn't come
Everybody's
to
scared
that.
of him right now. Like everybody in the when I talked to the co-host, everybody was, Helheim has the most games won. Helheim has the most wins. Like they're more likely to win. The player, Schumann knows his stuff. Helheim seems very, very scary. But then when I talk to the players, most people are respectful towards, the player and the nation, but nobody seems to be like Helheim is the one that I need to watch out. So
See, that's
it's been
surprising
very.
because I've never seen Helheim win a game
Neither
that
have
I've been
I,
in.
and I play a lot of I don't play a lot of. I play the majority of my few games are normally EA, and I've never seen him. We wrecked him last time, and it was even this. It wasn't this player, but he was playing Disciples, and this was his partner. And I mean, there was nothing there that surprised me except for your typical Elvish raids, which if you get lucky, you can get rid of them. So.
Yeah, and Schumann, he's a good player, and
He is.
he's getting better every game for sure. However, I believe this is the first time he's played an Elf Nation, and Elf Nations have some quirks. If you understand the quirks, you can make Elf Nations incredibly powerful and maybe traumatize somebody with some of the strategies here. But if you don't, and if you mess up your Pretender, I mean, you're
Oh
just a
wait, no,
sitting
that's
duck.
right. This is his second Helheim game. He was playing Helheim. His partner was playing Uruk or something ridiculous like that, and they took some terrible loss. So I'm really interested to see what he learned from that game. I don't know if he's I think you're right. I don't think he usually doesn't play Elf Nations, but this guy has it's really funny, dude, because this guy has probably about 50 games under his belt, and he's only been in the
Yeah,
scene for months.
oh, nice. Yeah, I've played with him, I think 3 times maybe. He was in the tournament game. There was a game I played with him where I won. I think I was Midgard, and then there was another one that just kind of puttered out. People kind of got tired of it. I'm not really sure what happened. I think we just voted for someone to win. It wasn't me.
Yeah, he
It wasn't.
joined when he first got in. He was one of those guys that joined 20 games. How many
Oh
games are
man,
you in?
that's too much.
Yeah, how many games are
I
you in?
try to I try to keep it at 2 or 3. I am currently
Me
in
too.
4, and I'm in 4, and the reason why I'm in 4 is because I'm about to win one, and so it's like, well, that one's about to wrap up, and I saw, I was invited to this Absolute Chaos 2 game. I'm like, all right, fine. You know,
You
I'll
can't
do
pass
it.
that up. Like 33 players,
Yeah,
turn 45
yeah.
cataclysm.
I needed to be
Is
in it. You know.
is it another small map? Please tell me he kept the map small.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I was
Oh
saying
man,
earlier. Is it's small. It has 33 players. It is going to be nuts. I love it. It's going to be great.
I almost did omniscience on that just because it would have been hilarious to watch the turns. It's just like the screen would have scrolled.
Yeah, you should see all the flags down at the bottom. Like it covers the unit cost.
That's
It's kind of
hilarious.
annoying. That one would be
Okay,
a really hard one to do. Oh, all right.
no,
Well, I
no,
was just
really,
gonna say it.
no. Go ahead.
That would be a really hard one to do, like a casting on, because every turn would be like 3 hours long. I mean,
Just get some dice out and randomly roll to see which fights you watch. You
yeah,
have no
seriously.
clue. It was absolutely hilarious to watch the flow. So if if you're listening in on this and are kind of a little confused, it's over at the Game Hub now, Dominion's Game Hub. The first game was on Lucid server, and it's all open diplomacy, 33 players, turn 45 cataclysm. The map is small. It's meant to be. I wanted a game where you could join it, have like 10-minute turns, and not feel guilty. So yeah, okay, dude. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and I think we've covered just about all our bases. So thank you so much for joining with us. You are my last interview, and I definitely enjoyed this one a lot. So I
All right.
appreciate you joining. So
Great talking to you, Darnus.
okay, well, I will see you. I will definitely, especially if the worst come on, I'd love to do some interviews with you. Make sure you keep a hold of your turns because then you can send them to me, and then I'm not showing like the entire world map, and we can go over your turn. So that'd be
Okay.
awesome. Okay,
Sounds
well,
great.
I
Yeah,
will.
I've got the bot set up, so it's good.
Oh, good. Okay, and if you don't know that's another thing that a lot of players don't know. You can actually get your turn sent to you by Mr. Clockwork. So, and on that note, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.